A lot of times we are afraid of taking risks because we want certainty, we want guarantees in life. So we want to say, okay, give me proof that this will work, and then I will take that chance, right? Which is
Yes.
fundamentally wrong, because unless you go and do something, how will you know it will work for you? But
True.
almost all of us want proof, want evidence, want guarantees before they do something, and that just
Hmm.
goes inherent against the nature of how things work, right?
All right, guys, welcome to the WeTransform show, a show where we meet real life transformers and know their stories in the first person because we believe everybody can transform and there is no right or wrong time of transformation. Today, our guest is Johari. Harsh is a man who has mastered the art of navigating through the rough seas, literally. He has been the ship's captain with 18 years on high seas, an investment banker for almost a decade, and now an executive and leadership coach. Harsh has given 4 TED Talks and inspires us regularly with his insightful content. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Harsh Johari to the show. Hey Harsh, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Alok. Thank you for having, and it's a pleasure and honor to be on your platform.
Thank you so much, Harsh. I'm so delighted that you were able to find time today. I look forward to really speak to you, and I keep watching your videos and your content every time you post something on LinkedIn, and they are truly inspiring. So thank you for doing that, Harsh.
Thank you so much for appreciating. Thank you.
Great. So Harsh, really curious about some things to know from you. So let's get started from your story. So if I ask you, where did your story started? What would be your answer to that?
My story started from a single decision I took when I passed out from my 12th standard. And this goes back
Mhm.
to 1991. I come from a small town in north part of India, and almost during that time we had only two choices as far as professional career was concerned: either you become an engineer or become a doctor. And I remember I had taken both maths and bio in my 12th standard with the hope that either I'll become an engineer or I'll become a doctor. Uh,
Okay.
but but when the moment came in terms of giving competitive exam and planning, I just felt that I don't want to do either of that, and I wanted
Hmm.
to do something different. And I went ahead and applied for joining merchant navy, which was a relatively unknown profession at that point of time, especially from a place I come from. It's a landlocked place. There's no sea around. Nobody in my family had ever seen a ship before, and I think
Hmm.
that's where the story started in terms of trying to make a decision against the norm, trying to do something which is contrary to what popular belief is, and then
Okay.
that became a way of life for me, really.
Wow, lovely. In fact, this is so important that, taking that call. So you had a rebel inside you from the beginning who wanted to do something different.
No, I won't say it's a rebel. It was more about the need to be different. So, rebel is you. If people are telling you to do something, you're not doing it, and just for the sake of it. This was more about, yes,
Hmm.
I know this should be done, but can I do something different? And I was fortunate enough
Okay.
for my parents to support the decision for me, right? So it was not a rebellious
Yes.
attitude. It was more an attitude to be different, to be different.
Wonderful, wonderful. In fact, and it takes courage as well to go against the grain, Harsh, because when I was growing and when I was making my choices, we also had a very limited time. In fact, I'm also very from a small town. I'm come from Varanasi in UP,
Hmm.
and we had this that either I become an engineer or I do a couple of other things were the options with me. Medicine was not one of my was not in my list at any time. Sometimes you take that courage to go ahead and do something in your life. So 18 years in the seas, 18 years on this world which is still unknown to many of us. I would really like to know from you, Harsh, what have you learned? What are some of the highlights of being a captain or being on the ship?
There's a lot to talk about, but I think, see, high seas can teach you something which no college education, no MBA course, no corporate job, no training can ever teach, right? Because it teaches you real life skills, right? Because when you're out in the middle of the
Hmm.
ocean, especially as a captain, you are responsible for the lives of people who are working for you, your crew. You're responsible of millions of dollars worth of cargo you're carrying. You are responsible for millions of dollars of ship as an asset, right? So So it's like a
Yes.
small floating enterprise in the middle of the ocean. And it's a huge responsibility, right? And when you are in the middle of the ocean, nobody's going to come and help you. If you
Yes.
encounter a problem, if you have a challenge, if something breaks down, if something is not working, you have to figure out a way on your own. And that is a
So
skill which we
true.
learned, right? Saying how do you work in a resource constrained environment. Like when in your corporate job and in office, if something breaks down, you just call somebody and somebody will come and attend to it, right? You have 101
Hmm.
you have 101 people around you who can come and help you, right?
Yeah.
But that is not the
So
luxury you have in the middle of the ocean, right? You have to figure out things on your own,
absolutely.
right? So I
Yeah,
think
in office, this is what happens. You something breaks down, something is not working. You have so many people. There's a system to lean on,
correct.
and especially in the ocean, and when you are the captain, you are the highest authority in the order. Who would you lean on? That's a very difficult situation
Yeah, and
sometimes.
then so that's one big lesson how to work in a resource constrained environment, right? Then
Hmm.
how to make real time real life decisions, right? Because again, on shore you can run through models, you can consult so many people, you can get into calls, you can do all this
Yes.
consensus building to arrive at a decision. But there, when you are in the middle of the ocean, where it's a question of life and death, and there's a storm coming in ahead of you, or something else is happening, you need to make a call at that point of time. So that requires a lot of your ability to take real time decisions, with
Yes.
the fact that you are going to own that decisions. Whether something happens in your favor or does not happen in your favor, you have to be fully accountable and responsible for your decisions, right? So how do you actually get into the habit of taking decisions? Because a lot of time when we are on shore, and that's the reason a lot of people are not successful in life, because they don't take decisions, they shy away, and they they
Yeah, of
they
course.
they keep on procrastinating, right? So that's another skill, right? I think the other great lesson from high seas was more about something I remember my first ship. My captain taught me was around dignity of labor, which I write a lot about, right?
Okay.
So when I joined the
Hmm.
ship, my first job on the ship was to clean the decks. And I was given a broom, I was given a mop, and saying start cleaning. And for months and months, we were just doing physically intensive work, which was cleaning decks, chipping, painting, very menial physical labor type of work. But that was a part of
Incredible.
a training.
Hmm.
And the training was based on a premise that if you do not know how to do the work, how will you get the work
Hmm.
done by your crew when you become an officer? Right? If you do not know how much time it will take, how much material it will take, how many resources it will take, tomorrow when you try to
Hmm.
get the same work done by others, they can take you for a ride, because
Yes.
because you've never done that, right? The premise was that if
True.
you do not know or do the physically intensive work, you will not really realize how difficult that work is, right?
So
So
the armchair management is something which you cannot live with in the seas. And
you,
also, I feel, Harsh, it builds another kind of empathy towards the people who are working for you. When you have done it yourself, you can really empathize as well when it is needed.
true.
So you get
Uh,
that power as well.
yeah, and if you look at the ship, right, your ship is a home, your ship is an office. In a shore,
Hmm.
when you work in corporate, suppose you don't like anybody, you still have to work with them for 8-10 hours, and then you go back home to your
Hmm.
family. So it's not like you're living with them, right? so
Yes.
so so you know that
Yes.
I'm in the office, certain people I like to work with, certain people I don't like to work with, and that's fine, because I'm here only for 8-10 hours. After that, I'm going to go back to my family, and then my life will be normal. So I'll have very clear separation. but
True.
but on the ship, you have these 20-30 people who are living with you, who are working with you. So it's like a home and office. So it's
Hmm.
not just about work. You also have to adjust to how these people live their lives, right? What sort of food they eat, what sort of
Hmm.
clothes they wear, what are their likes, what sort of movies they see, what sort of music they like. You have to take all this account,
Right.
because office and home are in that 200-300 meter length of the ship is all it is all about, right? Like we have to even care about, when I was a
True.
captain, when you're planning your meals for the crew, who likes vegetarian food, who likes non-vegetarian food, who likes how much salt, who likes how much, like all these things. It's a small, but you have to, because it is your family. Then you are staying with them all throughout, right?
And you, in a way, become mother and father of the family. You are the parent as well when you
Yeah,
are a captain because you have to really take care of everything.
yeah, because when we didn't have any emails, then people used to write letters, and sometimes it will take months and months for the
Hmm.
letters to reach the ship. Now you could have a crew member who's expecting a letter, and that letter has not come, and now that person is very disturbed because he's not heard from his family. Yeah, and these old days, letters will come. It
True.
may take 15, 20 days, 1 month, and after that you get a letter. and then you realize if somebody not got a
I
mail,
have a
people.
question.
Yeah.
I have a question now. This is what one thing I always wanted to ask somebody who has been on the ship.
Hmm.
How do letters come on a ship? Ship is moving from A to B. It's in the water. How does a letter reach the ship?
So the way it used to work was your family would write letters to your head office, which will be a shore office, and
Okay.
uh, and that head office will then courier the letters to the next port where the ship is going. So the office will know
Okay.
where ship is going from point A to point B. So when
Mhm.
so they know, let's say you are going to point B, the office will collect all the letter which have come up to a certain point in time, and will courier them to
Mhm.
point B, so that when the ship reaches there, you can receive those letters. So it will not be directly; it will come through a shore office.
So, which means fundamentally, this letter system was effective only when the air travel is also available, because the flight has to reach earlier so that the letter
Yes, yes.
reaches there, right?
Sometimes
Because the ship is going at its.
correct. But sometimes it could happen that your family has sent a letter, but the office already sent the mail. Now it has to wait for the next batch.
Ah,
So, so it
wow.
used to be, and then you had value of letters. So
Good.
when you will receive the letters, and you could see people are waiting for to receive the letters and greetings and all, and somebody who was not received will be sad because
Absolutely.
I
So,
mean,
which means that getting internet on water would be such a blessing for people.
yes,
I
yes.
guess now it is possible to have maritime uplink, and you can connect from your
Correct, correct.
phone. Oh
Now I
my God.
think internet is available. There's all on connectivity, so the communication much more improved. But when I was sailing, we didn't have internet as such. We did have satellite connectivity, so we could still connect to the satellite and load and upload the messages. But that's about it. Was the personal connectivity was not there. You will still need
Was not there.
you will still need a satellite phone to call home and talk to your family and friends.
Amazing thing. So, Harsh, this was like 18 years. It's almost like a second life you have lived, in one way place. Then
Sure.
complete transformation to becoming an investment banker. How did that occur to you? What was that change? What was that pivot?
I mean, see, I always have believed that couple of things. One is we all are born with a lot more potential than we explore. So this is my strong innate belief. All of us, everybody.
Hmm.
But for a variety of reasons, we end up living in a box instead of living outside the box, and we define the limits of the box. So I had this strong belief that I can do a lot more in life, um, but I was not very sure what else to do. All I knew was I want to do something more. So that was the first trigger point, saying, yes, I've sailed on ships, I've become a captain. What next? Now, I was very
Hmm.
happy sailing on ships. It was a fantastic career. This was taught me so much, but I still had something that. So what next? What next? What was the main thing? Which that was one thing. The second thing also was that a lot of times we are afraid of taking risks because we want certainty. We want guarantees in life. So we want
Hmm.
to say, okay, give me proof that this will work, and then I will take that chance, right? Which is
Yes.
fundamentally wrong, because until unless you go and do something, how will you know it will work for you? But
True.
almost all of us want proof, want evidence, want guarantees before they do something, and that just
Hmm.
goes inherent against the nature of how things work, right?
True.
Right. So I was very clear that until unless I go out and do something, I will not know what else I can do. So I was very clear that I have to get into this unknown to
Hmm.
find something, and I was very clear that
Okay.
nothing will come to me on its own. So that those two thoughts were there. So so inherently I developed a fairly risk-taking attitude, saying, let me go out there and see what else I can do. So this
Hmm.
need of change was more to do something different, be somebody different, see what else can I do, what is my potential, right? And more about challenging,
Hmm.
right? Challenging, saying, okay, I've done this, what next? Was a question I
What's
had.
next?
Yeah, I think that's a question,
Very true.
because I always believe that our lives should be full of stories.
Yeah.
I have always been a firm believer that at the age of 60, I should have enough stories to tell to my kids and grandkids.
Incredible, yes, and that's such a collection and such a wealth of one can acquire. I have read about that whole journey towards the South Pole, which is through Mr. Shackleton and his story in the Shackleton's
Hmm.
Way, and I was so thrilled about the way they take call and the way they decide to what to do, and taking everybody along with them is such a courage. And then deciding on leaving a mission because life of people is more important than the mission are some amazing things you learn in your journey. And again, as you said, that so many of us are stuck on that point, that can I be assured of that this change will be successful, or this change or this new thing will be working for me or not? And we never prototype, we never take chances, we just be where we are, and that's the, I guess, the biggest roadblock in any transformation. So I
Correct.
guess that curiosity and this is inside you which has really helped you take
And
that
go-
change.
and I want to challenge everybody saying, go back and look at your life. What is that in your life which has guarantees? What is that? Is there anything which has surety and guarantee in life? Even if you put your
Absolutely
money in the
not.
bank deposit, the deposit rates are down now, right? So there's nothing really there which can be guaranteed really, but still we seek certainty, right? And that's a
Exactly.
fundamental mistake we make.
Very true. So Harsh, this is amazing to know that what was inside you which made you take this pivot. But I see you also speaking a lot about change, and I've heard your TEDx talk as well. And you speak a lot about change. Change has been very, very close to your heart. Why change? Why have you chosen change over everything else?
Uh, See, it as I said, the starting point of my story was a different decision, a change in direction in terms of what I wanted to do versus what others do, right? But when I went on to work on ships, uh, change was the way we used to live. Now imagine a ship, right? Every 6 months we would go on a new ship. The ship will be different, the
Hmm.
crew will be different, the cargo will be different, the stakeholders will be different. We'll go to different ports. Now imagine the
Hmm.
same thing in a shore of in a corporate job. Every 6 months you have to change your office. Every 6 months, your team members will change. Every 6 months, your stakeholders will change. Everybody will change
That's
every six
difficult.
months. Now, how big a struggle it will be that every 6 months you have to adjust to a new environment. But that is what how we used to operate on ships. We used to so change was not a necessity or
Hmm.
need. It was just a way of life because we knew the next time it will be a different shape. The crew will be completely different. We'll go to different
Hmm.
ports. My cargo owners will be different. My stakeholders, custom, immigration, everybody will be different. So I will never have the same set environment
Hmm.
around me at any given time. So for 18 years I lived a life where change was the way of life. It was not a need necessary, it was just the way we used to work. That was the only way. So i i
Wow.
so I became very passionate. I said okay, and then you evolve yourself saying okay, I don't know what the ship will be, who the crew will. I may not know anybody, but I'll still be able to run it. So then it becomes a mindset that I'm ready for embracing change all the time. So
Yes.
that's why I coined this term saying, uh, people say change is constant, and I say change is not constant. Change is a constant, and
Yes. Okay.
there's a big
Hmm.
difference when you say change is constant
Big
versus
difference.
change is a constant. Change is a constant means that change is a given condition. It is bound to happen. It will
Hmm.
happen. And if you
Yes.
just understand that change is a
And
constant, which means it is going to happen whether you like it or not. So that's why I'm very passionate about speaking with change. And then of course changing from shipping to investment banking was a big change, because you come from a command and control structure, a very hierarchical setup, to a
hmm.
flatter shore
Hmm.
organization. Then changing from a corporate career to having my own consulting as a coach, that was again a major shift. So if you see, these changes are not
Hmm.
straightforward easy changes to make. And that's why I speak a
Exactly.
lot,
Yes.
because I have done that. I live it. I believe in it. I have, and again, not everything has worked in my favor. So I have my own failure. I have my own learnings, but I still want to change.
Beautiful. I guess that's an amazing attitude towards life, Harsh. Because as you said, that change is a constant, and how you have made change a part of life, a habit. Now that is where the whole learning is hidden. Because we are so resistant to it. We really like to be in our own comfort zone. So we everybody speaks about these things, but see, the truth is that we are made that way, and we are made that way because evolution has happened this way. If you are safe on a tree or in a cave, what was the point going out and getting hunted?
Correct.
This is how the evolution happened, and I guess that what made us so comfortable with the whole idea of not changing anything which is working already. But now we are not living in the cave, and of course there is no
Correct.
risk like getting hunted. So this mindset is something which is there to help us to do those things which we are meant for,
Yeah, and
I
that's
guess.
why I say people don't change. So there is a resistance to change, right? And why is that resistance? People don't change because of two reasons. Either the pain is not high or the gain is not high.
Hmm.
So I'll repeat,
Big. Yes.
people don't change because the pain is not high or the gain is not high. Now, what do I mean by that? So you spoke about comfort. Comfort zone means that wherever you are, it's familiar area, you're comfortable, safe, secure. There's no effort, which means you're not feeling any pain. You're okay with your current condition. So the
Yes.
pain or discomfort you are having, if at all, is bearable. Only when you push to
Hmm.
the limit, when the pain become unbearable, this is where you go for it. Like I give an example of a toothache, right? Let's say in the morning you wake up with a small toothache, right? And
Okay.
and you ignore it. You ignore it and you don't do anything about it, which means the pain is
Hmm.
bearable. Then by afternoon the toothache
Yes.
increases. Now you are having difficulty in eating food. You're now
Hmm.
the pain is increasing. Now you're not able to talk properly in the meetings, and by evening it becomes unbearable. and
Yeah.
and only then is when you visit a dentist, not in the morning.
Yes.
So the pain was not high, hence you did not visit the dentist, right?
Right.
But
Right.
uh,
Such an impactful example, and I guess those who are listening to it should know that sometimes even with a symptom, if we act at the right time, the loss is less. In fact, this has happened. Harsh, COVID-19 has shown a change of a different kind in the lives of many people. In our lifetime, we were not expected a pandemic of this scale, and nobody was kind of ready for it. But of course, there are two kind of people again: those who were not ready for any kind of change, those who were like, okay, I'll let the change come in, we'll see, we'll do something about it. I guess the later had a fairly good time because they were kind of ready to kind of spin and roll with the whole landslide instead of
hmm,
just sticking to where you are. You get crushed if
true.
you don't move and don't change in these times.
So I mentioned about pain is not high. The other thing which again most of us miss is the gain part. And it is
Hmm.
important because a lot of times we are caught in our lives, day to day life, so much that we do not know that what is out there.
Hmm.
So people don't reflect on two questions: what will happen to me if I continue to be the way I am? So they don't see how the life would be after 10 years, 20 years. So they don't see the pain part. The other thing which we do not see at all, and most of us don't see, that is what could be the gain. That if I'm able to change
Absolutely.
myself, if I am able to change the way I work or operate or live my life, what
Hmm.
possibilities I can create. And this is where almost none of us actually visualize the type of future we want. So the gain is not even
True.
available for us to examine.
Actually, and those who do, when they experiment and they go and adventure out and they see what is coming, they get astonished, they get thrilled. The quantum of growth can be much higher than we all expect, and as you rightly said, we don't visualize these things, and that stops us where we are.
Because what we do is we put the doing before the being. So let me
Yes.
do things. Eventually this will help me get somewhere. But it should
Yes.
work other way around. Where do I want to go? That should
Hmm.
determine what I need to do. But we work
Very
other way
true.
around. We work other way. We say, let me do this, do this, do this, with the hope that I will reach somewhere.
Yeah.
So,
And we make ourselves happy that बहुत काम कर रहे हैं, I'm working really hard. So
hmm,
things are going right, it's not going south. But again, where is the vision? Where are you going? Of course, you're doing something, but what is it for? So these things are, when they're not clear, definitely they won't make the journey more exciting. I guess nobody else can tell you than a captain of a ship, because destination is a very, very important thing in wayfinding and navigating, I guess. It's
yeah,
very,
because
very
yeah,
important.
we used to encounter storms in the middle of the ocean, but our destination would still be very the same, right? So while you are navigating,
Yes.
maneuvering around the storm, evading the storm, but you still know I have to reach that point. So every action I will
Yes.
take has to still be in line. I might have to take a detour, I may have to change direction, but eventually I have to come back. I still know that my
Wow.
destination is there because I have cargo I have to deliver there. I cannot go anywhere else. So
Very true. Very
yeah,
true. What an analogy, Harsha. I was, you look at this, no, yeah, you can take a detour, there can be a break, there can be anything. And in life as well, things will happen out of nowhere, unplanned, unstructured, something like a COVID-19. But you won't leave the whole destination because you have to deliver something there.
yeah.
And that's a beautiful, beautiful example. I think I should write a post on this in LinkedIn very soon. Great. So, Harsh, one more thing I do is that I speak to a lot of people on transformation. It's been very, very close to my heart. But I really find that a lot of us are stopping at this whole small limiting belief in the mind that they are not good enough, or they are not, probably this is not meant for them. And I heard you speak a lot about growth mindset. So I want you to share something on that side, that how can growth mindset help somebody who has identified there is something to change. I need to change, don't know what, and maybe not gathering enough courage to go ahead and do that.
So there are two things, right? A person with a fixed mindset has a very deterministic view of the world, right? They believe this is how things should operate, or this is how I operate, and
Hmm.
this is what I can achieve in my life, right? So it's a very, very fixed way of operating, right? Within certain
Hmm.
parameters, right? A person who has a growth mindset says, okay, I know there is a particular way, but this does not mean this is the only way. I can learn, I can evolve,
Hmm.
I can develop, I can achieve. All this goes back to, I think somewhere it goes back to your intrinsic level of motivation you have. Because I have a strong believer that if you truly want to get something, you will get it. And a simple example you can take, let's say you have to board an early morning flight. Even if there's no alarm, you'll still wake up on time and take that flight. Even if you,
Yes,
it, I can guarantee you must have happened in your life. Some early morning
many
train, some
times.
early flight you have to take. Even when there were no alarm, you would still be able to get up on time, to reach the airport or reach the station on time and board that flight or train, right? Because you had a
I had
strong.
something more. I had a funnier than that incident to tell you. Many times when something was super critical, like some early morning workshops as well. I have, otherwise I never wake up normally, that fast. I have woken up a minute, exactly a minute before the alarm goes off, and it has always happened.
It
It's
hap-
magical.
it happens to me. I set up a, let's say, 6 o'clock alarm. I'll get up at exactly same. I'll get up at almost exactly six, maybe sometime without the alarm. So when
Hmm.
you want something inherently, very strongly, you want, you will make
Hmm.
sure nothing comes in the way. You will make sure, not anybody else, not the
Hmm.
world or the universe. You will make sure nothing comes in the way. And when you don't want
Yes.
anything so strongly, you will make sure everything comes in the way. And that again goes back to my point of pain or gain. If by
Hmm.
if in trying to do something the gain is not enough, then you will try
Hmm.
to figure out a way. Something will keep on coming in the way. Life will happen. But if that
Yes.
gain is so strong that
Hmm.
I that no, come what may, I'm going to still achieve it, then you will not allow anything
Right.
come in the way. So again, I strongly believe the growth mindset is also tied to the pain and gain theory, that if I want to grow, if I want, like, a lot of times I am not sure what I want to achieve next, but growth is
Hmm.
in my mind. Like you spoke about TEDx, I had never given a public speech before, till last year.
Okay.
I had never been a public stage. I have not even thought about it. Uh,
Okay.
and then one fine day I said, why not? And and then I gave my first speech. Then I got invited to second, third, and fourth event. And it just
Wow.
happened in a span of 6 months, really, right? So when I wanted to do something,
Incredible.
I made up a mind. I said, why not? And then, as I said,
Hmm.
being has to come before doing. So I want to be a TEDx speaker. Okay, now let me see what I need to do. I need to connect. I
What
need
I
to
need to do.
apply. I need to practice my speaking, public speaking, whatever it is. Then everything falls in line with that.
I heard your TEDx talk, and it looks like you're a professional who has been speaking for years.
And
So the preparation which you have done has really worked
yeah, so I worked a
after
lot.
the
I worked
mindset
a
was
lot,
right.
and yeah, because I wanted it to happen. That's what I'm
Hmm.
saying. If you want something, then you will come from a growth mindset space. When you really don't want it so strongly, then invariably you will always put these boundaries or limitation from your own side. You will let things
Hmm.
come in between you and your goal, and you will allow that to happen. And when you are strongly believing something, nothing will come in your way.
Beautiful. I think the lesson which I take here is that what comes between you and your success or your future is actually you. So when
Yeah.
you sort it out, when you sort it out in your head and you really want it, you will figure it out. And it always happens with small things in life. If we really want to eat something, be it a midnight, we'll go and figure it out where it is available. We'll go for it. We'll get the things done which are really, really critical. That's a golden nugget, Harsh. Thanks for sharing. So, Harsh, what are you doing now? How are you serving and helping people?
So
Tell us something about that.
I currently work as an executive and leadership coach. I primarily coach CXOs and C-1 level leaders. I coach them in the practice of change management. So whenever a senior leader is going through a change, it could be a personal change, whether it's a new role, new function, new job, new promotion, or a leader is managing a change in an organization. Let's say going to a new market, developing a new business, taking over a new team. That's why I help the leader in change management. So I help leaders in managing and driving change in the organization. That's my current. I also work as a
Hmm.
career coach. So I coach a lot of senior professionals when they want to uh, make transitions in their careers from one career to another. I help them in that process as well.
Wonderful. And you have a wonderful story to share because you have transitioned multiple times in your life.
Yeah. So as I said,
So, Harsh, if, yeah,
no, as I said, whether it's coaching or whether it's leadership coaching or career coaching, it is all coming from what I have actually done. So it's not learned in a classroom.
hmm,
It's not theoretical. As a captain, as I said, leadership lessons. What the C's will teach you, no classroom can teach you, right? So
yes.
when I'm talking about leadership or crisis management, I've done that, right? When I'm talking about change, I've done that. When I'm talking about career transition, I've done that. So I talk more from my experiences, what is work for me, what is not work for me, and that's how I help my clients.
Incredible. And Harsh, if somebody wants to, follow you and find you, how can we reach you? What are the ways to reach you?
I mean, I think LinkedIn is the best place to connect with me. I regularly post, so best way to connect, best way to see what I do, best way to see how I can add value, and then you can book a consultation call. There's a link on LinkedIn on my profile. You can book a consultation call if you want to see
Mhm.
how I can help you or if there is any synergy. That's really it. So I think LinkedIn is the best way to connect.
Definitely. And I would definitely share your LinkedIn link here down below in the description. So, guys, do follow Harsh because he shares incredible content very, very regularly on LinkedIn, which is very, very inspiring. So, we would definitely love my audience to follow Harsh and learn from him on a daily basis. So, Harsh, thank you so much for joining this show. I'm really happy and delighted that you find time today. And I'm happy that you shared so many important nuggets of leadership, of change, of growth mindset with our audience today. Thanks a lot for joining.
No, it's a great pleasure. Thank you so much for having me here, and great to interact with your platform as well as your audience. And I hope they like it. And yeah, looking forward to it.
Thank you, Harsh. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, wish you all the best. Thank you, Alok. Bye.